Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates, another FPL Fridays. Josh, are you as buzzing as I am for this one?
Yeah, loving FPL Fridays. Getting back to the weekly routine like we had before Christmas, so I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's my favourite time of the week. It's probably yours as well, Josh. And we've got a very special guest today from TikTok. You might have seen him on the TikTok live earlier. It is Kieran.
Hello.
Kieran, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too well. I'm doing very well. As you can see in the background, my team, Reading, we're playing tonight, so nervous for that, but excited for this FPL Fridays.
Yeah, indeed. So, if you don't know Kieran, he's a massive Everton fan. It's clear to see on his TikTok. Do you want to just talk to us like why you're an Everton fan and how you got into it, basically?
Obviously my dad supports Everton, so there's the links really. And my family sort of split really between Everton and Liverpool. I just chose Everton when I was younger, and then there you go. I'm an Everton fan now, and I've been watching every game since. So.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you chose the blue half instead of the red half, that's for sure. Going forward, in terms of the Everton, they started the season really well, sort of dropped off a bit due to injuries and stuff. Got a decent fixture run at the minute. Who would you bring in terms of the FPL assets from your Everton side?
I would definitely be looking at Calvert-Lewin. Definitely, he's the number one man. There's not a lot of strikers who really can get many points, and I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin can fill that hole and getting a lot of points. Really, he's only 7.6 million, isn't he? I'd also look at James Rodriguez as well, because I think we're going to score a lot of goals, and he's going to be a big part of that. Again, a lot of assists, a few goals here and now. So yeah, I'd look at those two especially.
Decent. Any defensive ones? Because I know Ben, I think you mentioned it in the live earlier today. You brought in Michael Keane, obviously a bit of rotation there. Anyone you'd choose?
Yeah, I'd look at Michael Keane as well. He's in every time we get a corner, he's always one of those people who could get a goal. And Luca Digne is looking like he could be a really good asset for everyone. He's always down the wing. He's always getting the balls into the box. And if Calvert-Lewin starts getting goals in, so will Luca Digne will start getting assists in as well. So look out for those two.
Decent.
Yeah, really good. Like Digne playing out of position left mid recently. So I'm definitely looking at potentially bringing him in. I know everyone loves a defender playing in midfield, as we know from last season from John Lundstrom. We'll look back now at the game week 20 and... Well, I may as well share my team first, get it out of the way. It wasn't an ideal game week. Here it is. You should be able to see it now on the screen. 44 points this week from me. It's a disappointing one that could have been so promising. We started the game week with Cresswell 5-pointer, a Target 4-pointer, and a Cancelo 17-pointer. So it was looking really fine. And Justin let me down for 1 point. McCarthy let me down for 1 point. Wasn't ideal at all. Brought in the wrong Leicester asset in midfield. Was debating between Barnes and Maddison, and I fully blame Josh for making me choose Maddison.
Rent free in his head.
No other excuses. Salah, the goals are coming, the returns are coming. I think over the last few game weeks, we were saying on the TikTok live, he's had the same expected goals as players like Souček, who's got 3 goals in the same period that he's got none. So. I think the returns are coming with Salah. He was unlucky not to get a goal or an assist in that Tottenham game. Fernandes, he just didn't look good. He didn't look at the races. And considering everyone captained him, it kind of eases the pain a little bit, I guess. Antonio up front with 5 points and came with a disappointing 1-pointer again. And Greece are 3 points on the bench again. Surely I've got to consider starting him at this rate. But yeah, Kieran, what do you make of my team for that week?
It's good. I mean, it's a good team. I mean, you got unlucky with Fernandes, didn't you? Being your captain and then blanking. Same with the Kane injury. So, I mean, it looks all right, doesn't it? Antonio and Cresswell got some points for you. So, yeah. I mean, there are a few positives in that team, isn't there? So, yeah.
Yeah, go on, Josh. Pick me off with these selections.
To be fair, like before the game week starts, I think you look at that team and you think I'm getting a decent week here, 60, 70 points. A lot of things just went against certain players this week. We saw Son get an offside goal. Salah got like a goal and an assist ruled out. Fernandes, United, any other day, I think will beat that Sheffield United team. So it's a difficult one to take. Same with Kane. Obviously, he came off at half-time. Yet another player injured. There's been so many premiums injured this season. It's been crazy. But yeah, I think going forward, you don't really have much to worry about. It's just obviously Harry Kane and what you do with him now, really.
Yeah, we'll get on to what I'm doing later. But Josh, tell us about your game week this week.
Yeah, same lines as you. 3 points less. It's the first red arrow I've had in literally ages. I think like nearly 2 months, maybe. So not ideal, but it was going to happen eventually. Southampton let me down. I'm not a massive fan of their defence currently with their injuries that they've got at the minute. James Justin, again, a little bit annoying, although Everton fan in here. They scored, and obviously 1 point is annoying with the yellow card as well, which ain't great. But Justin's decent, he's a consistent performer, and sometimes he's going to have a week like that. Cresswell, he's the top scoring FPL defender, I do believe, in the whole game at the minute. And I've had him in for numerous amounts of weeks. So he's just ticking along very nicely. Liverpool at home this week, though. So he's on my bench. Stones, Bednarek, decent. Maybe less Bednarek, decent. Bruno, captain, we've already discussed that. 2 point, he's the most captain player in the whole of FPL ever this week, which is crazy. Like nearly 2.8 million, I think. Blank. United didn't look very good in that game. I'm not going to lie to you. Son, unlucky. Sterling was the main man this week. Without him, I would have dropped quite significantly. Thank you, Glenn, for that little recommendation. Salah in there again. We mentioned him. Antonio's doing bits right now. I could probably see him scoring against Liverpool, to be honest. So he stays in my 11 for next week. Bamford is on the ropes. If he don't return next week, he is out for me. And then on the bench, it's just, your standard old 1-2 pointers. So not a good week, let's be real. But, moving forward, I'm looking good.
Yeah, it's not a bad team, There's a few good players in there. And again, one of them weeks where I don't think anyone's really getting too many points out of that. Kieran, do you have your team ready to share at all?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, there you go. Just go over here. Should be sharing. Is that sharing now?
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. So you see, I've got Emi Martinez in goal. Obviously, a bit of a fluke result against Burnley with them conceding 3. Didn't see that coming. Michael Keane at the back. We didn't get any. Obviously we conceded against Leicester, so it's a bit annoying. Stones obviously got the clean sheet against who was it again?
West Brom.
West Brom, yeah. So it's sort of expected. And then obviously you see Grealish got me a few points and a few bonus points as well because he scored. And really, it was quite disappointing, to be honest, with Fernandes blanking as captain, Son, Calvert-Lewin didn't score either. But Antonio, Barnes and Grealish sort of carried me throughout this team week. So, yeah. That's really it, isn't it?
Go on, carry on.
Just the Harry Kane injury did me in, really. I mean, if Son and Kane would have scored and assisted in that first one, then we would have been. I think I would have been set to get 45 points this, wouldn't I? So, yeah. So,
yeah. It's an unlucky week. I think that Spurs Liverpool game could have gone a number of ways, and it just didn't go the right way for pretty much everyone. Mane, that's Mane's first double-digit haul since game week 2. I don't think anyone has him in anymore. So it's going to be interesting going forward, seeing if Salah can pick up the slack, that's for sure.
Yeah, looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold as well, his ownership was at 1.3% or something ridiculously low like that. So no one's really benefited off that Liverpool Spurs game. It's all right in one perspective that no one's getting points, but it's annoying that we don't get the points ourselves either.
With Trent as well, it's a bit of a weird one because I still can't really see him doing that again anytime soon. I think he's still in quite a bad run of form. It might make him kick on, but Spurs defended terribly that game for some of the goals. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, so we'll move on. I think it's time, lads. I think it's time.
He loves it.
Is this the...
I think it's time. Right, so
okay.
Lads, I want to see some hype in the chat for the FPL trivia quiz. You guys love it every week. You know how it goes. Josh, do you want to just go through the rules of the FPL trivia quiz before we get in, just in case someone doesn't know?
If you haven't heard already, or if you don't know already, basically Kieran will have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as he can on Everton/FPL questions. So we're going to go straight into it. I'll get the timer up. Ben's got the questions, and we'll get rolling.
Yeah, I've got the questions here.
All right.
Sit down, relax, and get some popcorn, says Glenn in the chat. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Come on, let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1. How many clean sheets have Everton kept this season in the Premier League?
4. Is it?
Correct. DCL is your top scorer in the Prem this season, but how many goals does he have?
11.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
One player has registered 5 assists for Everton this season. Who is that player?
It's not James, it's Digne.
Correct. Who is Everton's all-time record appearance holder in the Premier League era?
Oh, God. I don't know. Kale. That's not right.
Tim Howard. Who is the highest scoring FPL defender for Everton so far this season?
I'm going to say Michael Keane.
Correct. What price is DCL currently on FPL?
Who? Sorry?
Calvert-Lewin. How much is he on FPL?
7.6 million.
Correct. Who has played the most minutes in the Premier League for Everton this season?
Keane.
Correct. Digne has received a red card this season. Who is the other Everton player to receive a red card this season?
Alan? No. Oh, it's not. Is it?
It was
Richarlison. Oh, because of the Thiago tackle, wasn't it? Oh,
yeah.
God damn it.
How was that?
6.
I think that's 6.
God damn it.
Oh, wow.
That was a good run from you, though. Unlucky.
Shout
out to all of you in the comments answering the questions along with Kieran. That was close to it. That was close to it.
I got confused because Alan got injured against Leicester, and I just thought that because he's been out for so long, I just sort of like assumed it was it.
As soon as I heard the question, I thought Alan. I'll back that with you. But yeah, now good run in that. 6 questions. You got to be proud of yourself. You got to give yourself a little pat on the back there, mate.
That's a good run. That is a really good run. I mean that's crazily close. Who's got the record? Is it?
It's FPL Don still.
FPL Don was shaking a little bit there. Yeah, it was a close one. We'll move on, Josh. We'll move on.
Yeah, indeed. So we're going to look ahead to game week 21 fixtures. Obviously, there's a lot of good games this weekend, a lot of decent FPL fixtures too. We'll go around, we'll pick 2 fixtures each. I'll start for who's going to be like the best assets probably in the game. So I'll leave the Everton game to Kieran, as that's just obvious.
Thank you. Yeah.
But for me though, West Brom Fulham, I know it's going to be a weird one to kick off with, but I've brought in Pereira this week. I'll show you my team and the transfers that we made in a little bit. And I think these next 2 fixtures for West Brom, they're must-wins for them against lower side teams. And if anyone's going to get the points for him, it's going to be Pereira, 5.6 million. I'm hoping he can do bits for me like Ross FPL did when he captained him in the double game week. It was madness. So yeah, that's my first pick of the week. And then the second one, I'm going to go for Arsenal United. I think that could be a quite high scoring game. Arsenal in a very good form. You got to say United are in decent form. If you just take out their Sheffield United result, I don't think anyone saw it coming. Be good to see how they respond as well to losing to Sheffield United, whether they keep their heads down and pummel through and get more results, or whether they just let it go and the title chance is over. So Lacazette, Cavani, Bruno, I think we can see a few returns there. Lacazette looks like one of the most informed strikers right now. Who for you, Ben, are you targeting in terms of fixtures?
So I'm targeting the Man City game, I think, this week. I've brought in a Man City player, but I'm not targeting their attack necessarily because Sheffield United, the underlying defensive stats, they're top 10 in the league for their defence, which is weird to say, but it is true. They've not actually got too bad of a defence. So going forwards, obviously Sheffield United struggles. So that's why I'm looking to invest in that Manchester City defence. And I think that's where the points are going to lie again in that City team. In terms of other fixtures you've got to target, the West Ham Liverpool one is an interesting one because that has been high scoring before. And the likes of Cresswell going forwards, Antonio against a really depleted defence. I think Matip's out again for another couple of months. Fabinho's out again, I think. So they've got nothing at the back left, and they're going to have to go and best form of defensive attack, I think, for Liverpool at this point. So I think we could see a high scoring game in those two fixtures.
Yeah, and Kieran, obviously you can pick two as well. I imagine Everton is going to be at the fore for your mind.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Everton because we've got Newcastle, and obviously Newcastle are in a bad run of form.
Yeah,
and I think because everyone's coming back, apart from Alan, everyone's fit. Decore's back in, and when we played against Leicester, the only reason I think we did concede was because we didn't have any midfield. So I think with Decore back, it will really help people like I'm going to pick Digne and Calvert-Lewin. I think when Digne might keep a clean sheet, I think that's a really we could keep a clean sheet against Newcastle, depending on how good St. Maximin does, because he is coming back into the game. So you've got to remember that. But I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will definitely get a goal. He's really hungry to get a goal, I think, because he hasn't scored since the Burnley game. So he'll really want to get a goal. And with James Rodriguez and Digne, I think he'll be able to do it. Definitely. So
yeah, it's good. And then a second fixture, non-Everton based.
Have you done the Brighton versus Tottenham game?
We haven't. Go for it.
No, I'll do that. Obviously Kane's injured, so we can't pick him. But I think Son. I think I'd look out for Son. I think he hasn't. I mean, he didn't deliver against Liverpool, did he? But I only watched a bit of the Liverpool game, but he was playing quite higher up than normal. So I feel like Jose Mourinho might try something with him, put him up a bit higher on the pitch, and I'd have a look out for him if you are going to look out for a captain, because Brighton aren't exactly the best at defending, are they? So yeah, look out for Son.
Yeah, they've conceded some of the most goals at home this season for any team in the league. So he was my captain before Kane got injured. With Kane being out, I'm just a bit hesitant because you never know. Kane might even play. We know Mourinho's head tactics, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll move on to game week 21, captain of the week, which you led us on nicely to. Ben, who are your main men? Have you decided yet?
Yeah, I've made the transfer and I've decided, so I'm going to show you what my team is for this week. Bang. It's big. It's bold. Ray, if you're watching this, Ray, I've done it. Ruben Dias is in, and he is the captain this week. He is the captain of the ship, and hopefully it doesn't sink. As you can see, I've gone with a back four, and interestingly enough, I've got Cresswell in at the moment. Could change. Not too sure yet. Interestingly, also left Kane in because I don't trust Mourinho. We all know last time what happened when Mourinho was put in this situation. Manchester United away was the next game, and look what happened there. So I don't trust Mourinho at all in that regard. And I think if Kane doesn't play and then he's ruled out for another few more weeks, it's confirmed, then I'll bring him out. I'm not too concerned about losing 0.1 on selling him because I've made a lot of money off of him anyway, bringing him in so early on. If he doesn't play, that means Target comes in for that one, and I'll hope for a 0-0 in that Southampton-Aston Villa game. Yeah, Diaz come in. He's made way for Cole Walker-Peters, who has confirmed that he's not going to be playing this week. So I thought, you know what, I'll bring him out and bring Diaz in and put the captain armband straight on him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this week. It's a bold captain selection, and I'm interested to see what you boys think of that.
Yeah, go on, Kieran. I'll let you go first.
So yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I would say it's not. I don't know. It feels like a safe. It feels like a safe option, but then not, because obviously I feel like he's going to get the clean sheet. So he'll probably get 6 points, but whether or not you can actually score to get you more points is a different question. So I think it's quite a good pick, to be honest. Maybe yes. I mean, it might not pay off, but I think it is a good pick.
Yeah, it's the first time this season I've really gone for out of the ordinary sort of captain choice, Josh, isn't it? So
yeah,
see what you think of that.
You did Mahrez when I did Jesus, and they both blanked. So it'll be interesting. Whether Sheffield United will score, I don't know. Like, they did look a lot better than what they had done against United. Whether City will concede, though, City's defense has been absolute madness. It'll be crazy if they do. If they do score, it'll be like a corner, I feel, or something along those lines. So hopefully, for your sake, they don't. And I've got a double City defense now, so I hope they don't too. It's an interesting one. I feel like it is very safe, maybe too safe. Maybe Sheffield United get a goal.
Maybe. I mean, it's what FPL's all about, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I think it's a risk, and you think it's all really safe for a captain pick. So you know what? We'll move on. Whose team should we look at next for captaincy and that sort of thing?
We'll get mine out of the way. Get it done easy. So if you can you share the screen?
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I took a -8 this week, which is kind of bonkers to be honest, because I haven't took a hit in so long and I'm quite against it, but some changes had to be made. So I wanted Cancelo in and I wanted Pereira in. I was 0.1 off doing that with just 2 transfers. So I brought in Tyreek Mitchell, who will sit on the bench, but it's not much of an issue because I wasn't going to play Rob Holding, who I took him out for. I also took out Bednarek for Cancelo, and El Ghazi came out for Pereira. So I have a playing midfielder again. Like I said earlier in the show, Pereira, he's got Fulham at home this week, which I feel like he can score in. He also then has Sheffield United away. So 2 relatively good defensive teams, but I see West Brom scoring in both games, and hopefully Pereira can be a part of that. Sterling, he's my captain this week. He got 11 points. I'm not really keen on the idea of captaining him. It could change before the deadline, to be honest. His positioning against West Brom was not ideal for FPL manager. Like the goal and the assist he got was quite late on. And I feel like when they start City and without the substitutions of like Foden coming off, he's not really their main person to go to. So it's a difficult one, but I don't really see a better captaincy option right now in my team. So I'm sticking with him. Vice captain Cancelo, because I do believe that City defense is a decent captaincy option. I can understand why you'd go with it, because if you just want to, steer the ship and have a safe captaincy 12-pointer, you probably wouldn't turn your nose up at that. So yeah, a few decent transfers. We'll see what happens with them. I'm just begging Pereira does me good.
Yeah, I like that team. Interesting that you've gone with a captain and vice captain of the same team. Is that a risk you're willing to take in case a game gets called off, or? Well,
it's more so the risk of Sterling not playing, because we've seen in the past Guardiola might bench him, he might not. It's Pep roulette, and if he does get benched, he doesn't come on. I've then got the Cancelo, who is obviously basically plays right midfield for him anyway. So I'm more than happy to do that in Man City circumstances. If it was a different team and different players, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, all right. We'll get Kieran's team up now. There it is. Talk us through it.
Well, we have Martinez in goal because I think he's gonna compared to Leno, who's got Man United. I think Martinez has got more likely chance of keeping a clean sheet or getting more points than Leno anyway. And then I've got Cancelo, Keane, and Stones. I think they can all keep a clean sheet. I'm doubling up on the Man City defenders because I think against Sheffield United they've got a really good chance of keeping a clean sheet. Midfield, I've got Son. I think he'll get a load of goals. That's why I've got him vice captain. Fernandes, I'm not too sure how he's going to do against Arsenal because I have a feeling he could potentially just bounce back against them and just score like a hat-trick against them because of how poor he was against Sheffield United. But I'm not captaining him. Then I've got Grealish, Barnes, and Gundogan. I brought in Gundogan and Cancelo in this week, and I think I did a -8. I think it was. I took a hit of 8 points-wise. And then up front, we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Antonio. I've gone with Dominic Calvert-Lewin as captain because I think he will score a load of goals, as I've said before. And I think Antonio is a wild card. I think he could do some damage against Liverpool, especially with Fabinho and who else? Matip was injured, so I think he can do quite a bit of damage, to be honest. So yeah.
Your team looks class, to be fair. DCL is someone who I'm very jealous not to own this week with Newcastle. I think they're the most out of form team right now in the league. So I reckon DCL goal and assist, it could easily be done in that game. Looks very decent. Gundogan, obviously their main player right now going forward. Crazy price. He's risen like 0.2 million this week, which is fair enough because he's just so cheap. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I really like that team. The lots of Everton players in there. I mean, I think it's expected, to be honest. I don't blame you for having your own team tripled up. I don't see any faults at all in that team. I think you're probably on for a really good score this week. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Very, very good stuff. So are we moving on to differential? Yes, we are.
We are indeed. We are indeed.
So this is the segment of the show. If you don't know already, we'll pick a player to perform well this week. It has to be under or around 10% ownership. So we'll kick off with Ben. Go on, mate.
Oh, put me on the spot a little bit there. I wasn't expecting myself to go first, to be completely honest with you. But in terms of differential options, I said it before on Glenn's channel, and I'll say it again. All Harvey Barnes. I I wish I went with him instead of Maddison. Bit of a regret, but I think he's going to do well against Leeds. We saw how Leicester did against Leeds in the reverse fixture. They've got Perez up front, which I think does the job for him anyway. And Barnes in the last few weeks, he's been on fire, hasn't he? In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in the last 6 game weeks, he's returned 5 times. So goes without saying, he's in pretty good form at the moment, and I think he's going to be able to continue that. He's under 10% owned and a relative bargain for the returns that he's getting right now. So can't see anyone else other than Harvey Barnes as my differential of the week. Josh, what about you?
I think pretty much Shiv's already said it in the chat. He already knows who I'm picking. Mateus Pereira, 1% owned, which is madness. 2 really good fixtures coming up in the next 2 weeks. Fulham, they can't play the way they play against the top 6 sides. They're going to have to come out, and I think maybe a free kick or a set piece or something Pereira can benefit from massively. West Brom like playing these sort of teams in and around them. They seem to score. Obviously, they beat Wolves the other week. So I think, praying to the gods that he's going to return this week.
Kieran, have you got a differential of the week?
It's an Everton player because I was going to pick Pereira. Yeah, I actually was going to pick Pereira, but he's in your team. So I honestly, Pereira as a captain, that could be a shout, Against Fulham, I think he could get a goal or an assist like he did against Wolves. But for my one, I'm going with Michael Keane. I think he's owned by about 5%. I think it is. And look, I'm going to go on about Michael Keane till the end, to the end of the world, because he is so good for Everton. He should be our captain. He can get some goals in the corner. Whenever there's a corner, he can keep a clean sheet. He's just an amazing player. He is really amazing. Michael Keane.
United legend. You love to hear
it. He's always going to bring that up somehow. So he's managed it. It's quite impressive. So that pretty much almost summarises the FPL Fridays. Now, you guys in the comments, whack in some questions now, and we'll start answering a couple. So Jack asks, thoughts on Fulham defensively? Now, Josh, you've spoken on this a couple of times before. Do you still stand with what you said about Fulham being pretty good defensively now?
Yeah, 100%. Even though I'm saying Pereira is my differential of the week, Fulham are still decent at the back. Ariola's been on my shopping list for a good few weeks now, and I'm just struggling to get him in because I've had so many holes to plug in the last couple of weeks. But I think they're one of the best defensive teams to target if you're looking at like a rotational keeper, like with Areola, as I mentioned, or maybe even a cheap defender. I think that's probably one of the main areas you want to look at in that Fulham team. Going forward, they have some decent fixtures as well. And it's crunch time down at the bottom. There's some teams picking up results. We saw Sheffield United win, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on the teams in and around them. So it's going to be interesting down at the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, we've got a differential in from Lewis. Says Cavani versus Arsenal. Kieran, is that a good option?
If he starts, that's the big question. I think if he starts, I think it's a good move because there's not many striking options. But it's that question of whether he starts Martial or Cavani. And I know Cavani didn't do well against Sheffield United, so I would expect him to start against Arsenal. And if he does start, I would look at that. Yeah, definitely. I think he could score a few goals past Arsenal. And they looked very shaky when they brought in Gabriel and Holding. If they go with that combo again for Holding and Gabriel, because Gabriel's been out for so long, I think he would be a good move for this week anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll put this one to all of us. A midfielder for 5.5 million or under. Now, there's some options here. There are some
serious options.
Josh, do you want to go into a couple that you'd recommend?
Yes, it's basically been my dilemma for like the whole week because I have 5.5 million to spend on a midfielder. So the main ones to look for, in my opinion, there's three, 5.5 and above, maybe four actually. Saka, obviously, he's playing unreal for Arsenal at the minute. Difficult fixture though, United. I don't know whether he'll return or not. They have Wolves, who will probably sit quite deep, and Aston Villa, who have also been decent defensively, although they just conceded 3 to Burnley. Obviously, Souček. He scored a brace last week. It'd be silly not to mention him. Same with Rafinha. He's looking very good. Better option than Patrick Bamford, in my opinion. And then the final one's going to be Ademola Lookman, because he's got some good games coming up and has been looking in decent form. Out of those four boys, which ones are you picking?
Can I go first? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go with Saka. I mean, I don't know how Arsenal are gonna, be against Man United. I'm not sure about that game, but definitely for the games after it, I think Saka. When I've watched Arsenal, he's sort of being that guy who can play anywhere, so he's definitely going to play. And I think he can get a goal or an assist because he is really a big part of the Arsenal team. So I'd pick Saka.
Yeah, I like that pick. What about you, Ben? If you're picking a 5.5,
it's got to be Saka, isn't it? I can't look past him. He's in form, he's scoring goals, he's assisting, and he's becoming more and more crucial every week in that Arsenal team. So yeah, I've got to go Saka. Don't think there's any other option at that price point that's producing better sort of value for money on a consistent weekly basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to agree with you, boys. Out of those lot, I think I'd probably choose the same. The other alternative, I think, is Lookman, just because of his fixtures. West Brom, they like to concede a lot of goals, and I know even Glenn said yesterday, captaincy option outside the box, it could be him. I don't know if I've got the cojones for that, but we move.
Another question from Jack here. I have 11 million in the bank. Is that a bit ridiculous? I know it's a bad thing having money in the bank, but still, I mean, having money in the bank is probably not surprising at this point, is it? Because there's so many assets that are out. I mean, having that much in means you can bring in De Bruyne when he's back anyway, or whoever you want really to make transfers. So I guess it's safe, but I guess it's also potential of losing out on points, right?
Well, you got to say, who is the good premiums to own at the minute? Realistically, Bruno at a push, or Son. There's probably one or two. I wouldn't really go as further than that. Liverpool have been hit and miss. I wouldn't bring in Mane this week, although he's just returned. He's a trap, Mane. I had him in this season, and he's just not ideal to watch. What would you do if you had 11 in the bank, Kieran?
I mean, you know what? Because how ridiculous the season has been, you just see people like Grealish and Barnes and Gundogan and all these, cheap options, absolutely tearing it up. But maybe Aubameyang's a shout. If he comes back, I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but if he comes back, I know he's been suffering from personal issues. But after the Man United game, maybe if Arsenal keep their run of form, if you want to invest in a premium, maybe Aubameyang's a shout potentially.
Yeah, I like that. He's been looking decent this season as of late. What do you lads reckon of Salah captain? Must be due a goal soon. He was definitely on my radar. I think I would just rather wait until he does actually start scoring, if you know what I mean, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, the returns are coming and the goals are coming, but I don't know how well he's going to do against West Ham. And at the moment, with any Liverpool player, you're unsure whether they're going to turn up or not. Now, hopefully, from an FPL perspective, Liverpool have turned a corner now after that Tottenham victory and will go on and start winning games. Probably not what Kieran wants to hear, but that's what you hope for from an FPL perspective. And when Liverpool are firing, Salah usually is firing too. So yeah. I think he's due a goal, but I wouldn't trust captaincy just yet.
Especially against West Ham, who are arguably one of the best teams in the league right now. So even though I think they're very solid. Craig Dawson and Ogbonna have been a solid partnership for them.
Son or Rashford, Kieran?
Oh, that's a good one, but I'm gonna have to back Son on this. I feel like even though Harry Kane is out the team, I feel like it could be an opportunity for Son because he could be more central to that team. He could be a bigger part of that team now that Kane's out. I know Kane helps him with the assists and whatnot, but I'd back Son. I'd back Son to do well because I think he'll try and step up after Kane. as if he's out, then I think Son will try and step up and become that main man. So I pick Son.
Yeah. We'll take a couple more questions then, I think, if that's all right with you, lads. Just having a look now. You knew this one was coming up, I think. Kieran does seem like a massive Liverpool fan secretly. You've caught him out, lads. You've caught him out.
Caught me out.
Thoughts on Cancelo captain this week? Josh, what do you make of a Cancelo captain?
Yeah, I think he'd be my captain defender if I was choosing a defender, just purely because the attacking returns. It was bound to happen, the 17-pointer. At some stage, he hit the bar against, who was it, Aston Villa, when De Bruyne passed him. He was due that return, more so than Stones, definitely. So I think it's a good option. I can see why you'd go Man City defenders, as I mentioned earlier, with Ben captaining Diaz. I think he's the best option. I don't think it's going to be Stones, Cancelo, Diaz. That's just a random piece of correlation that's happened.
It's written in the stars. So, we'll take this final question here. Son captain, good idea. Kieran, we'll let you answer this one.
Yeah. I'd say yeah. I've been backing Son this whole stream, haven't I? I'd say yeah. I think against Brighton, honestly, I think Mourinho will want to have a win against Brighton. Just get 3 points on the board, back in form, and then yeah, Son's going to be the main man. So I'd definitely captain him. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that kind of rounds up FPL Fridays again. Another week, another fantastic guest on the show, Kieran. Thank you for coming on, and we hope you enjoyed yourself on air today.
I did. Thanks for inviting me on. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Yeah, if you haven't already, everyone, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. You'll see all the live updates from the weekend ahead. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, Brownell?
Yeah, but it's going to be an interesting week ahead of us, I'm sure, as well. We've started our journey on Twitch, haven't we, Josh? So
we have indeed.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on there. There's nearly 70 followers already on there from one stream, so it's going really well. But of course, check out Kieran as well on TikTok, Kieran Rants. Yeah, I have Twitter, YouTube as well.
Yeah, everything's just called Kieran Rants. It's quite easy to find, so I just took the name as I could and just put it across every platform. So just search up Kieran Rants anywhere, and you'll probably find me. Yeah. Thank you.
I would have put the link in, but I forgot, and I also forgot to put our own links in. So it's a big effort. Thank you for tuning in to FPL Fridays. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
Oh, and I've been Kieran.
Hey,
we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.